Hey there, everyone. My video stopped a little bit earlier than I expected, but hey, glad to be here. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. Hopefully, we are live. So, if you are online and you're watching us, please give us a word. Why don't you use the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn, and I'll be more than happy to see that we've got people online. So why don't you tell me actually where everybody's? I'm curious to know where everybody's from. So why don't you let me know? I'm based out of the lovely Ottawa, Canada, where we have a freezing rainstorm today. Like there's huge wind, freezing rain falling down. It feels like hell's gonna break loose. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point I lose power. So hopefully we'll be able to get the stream going all the way, and we'll see how that goes. So we've got Kushagra that says hi, Amit, hi everybody. Oh, we've got Alvaro from London, India, Japan. I was in Japan actually just a couple of weeks ago. It was such a great trip. Nice to meet you, Tsubasa. Hadi, SM from Bangladesh, Jitendra from India. Wow, we've got so many people. Hey, someone from Toronto, Canada. France, bonjour la France. All right, Brazil. That's great. We've got a lot of people coming in and watching today. So I'm curious, is everybody here who here is familiar with MongoDB and who's familiar with MuleSoft? Because I know there was promotion from both sides. I'm curious whether you're someone that knows MuleSoft and want to learn about MongoDB, or someone that knows MongoDB and wants to learn about MuleSoft. So let me know how that goes. We still got people saying hi. That's awesome. And let's see what's going on and and I think there's a delay, so it's kind of always weird waiting for those comments to come in. So let me know if you're here for MuleSoft or for MongoDB. I'm familiar with both. Learning MuleSoft. That's good. That'll give us a good way to decide how to cater the content today. Speaking of content today, I've got an amazing guest. I'm so excited to have Akshana that will join us in just a couple of seconds. She's from MuleSoft. We've met at DevOps Belgium just a couple of weeks ago, or months ago. We were talking about that. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to talk a little bit about and learn more about MuleSoft. I've seen it a little bit, played around, dabbled around with it a little bit, but I love how it helps to integrate and automate all different services together. So I'm really excited to learn more about it and learn more about. I love all things low code. So I'm very excited with this one. So speaking of which, why don't I bring Akshata on the screen? And there you go. Hi there.
Hello, hi. Thanks for joining.
How's it going?
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for having me here as well.
Thank you so much for being here. Now I'm not sure. Your video is frozen. I'm not sure if it's
frozen, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's weird. Is it fine now?
Still the same thing. You're still not moving.
Oh, that's weird. Let me just try again. That's the thing with live.
It's funny that we've tried it before everybody joined. Literally before everybody joined, we were having a conversation on it. Let's see if I can get Akshana to come back. Hopefully she'll be able to join us, or else I'll just do the whole thing. I'll figure out with everybody's help how to use MuleSoft with MongoDB. So let's wait a few seconds. In the meantime, I still see those comments flying. Hey, by the way, we will have a trivia today, so stick around. You'll have the chance to win a MongoDB t-shirt, MongoDB podcast. Did you know that we have a podcast, by the way? If you didn't, here's the link. So you can take a look at our podcast. If you're interested, and if you're interested in winning a MongoDB podcast t-shirt, You can answer a trivia, which we'll have in just a couple of minutes. There will also be another trivia by MuleSoft, where you'll have a chance to win an ebook called MuleSoft for Salesforce Developers
Yep.
by Akshata. All right, so I think we've got you back. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think we should get started.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've still got people coming in, but why not get started?
Yeah, definitely. And thanks for bringing up my book as well. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about well, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for starters?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everyone, and I'm working as a developer advocate at MuleSoft, which is a Salesforce company. And yeah, I've been doing this thing. Before this, I have been a MuleSoft ambassador, and I've actually been in MuleSoft community for a long time, almost 6 years now. Uh, and yeah, it's all been about MuleSoft. I recently co-authored a book with Alexandra and Arul, MuleSoft for Salesforce developers. So if you are someone who's planning to like get onboarded on MuleSoft, learn MuleSoft, and you with a book, yeah, so that's the place you should be looking. It's available on Amazon, and we are also giving away a free copy today at the end of the show. So yeah, stay tuned.
Yes, I know I have that link somewhere. There we go. Boom.
Yeah, thank you.
So if you're interested in finding out more, here's the link for the book in question. Feel free to go check it out, and I'll try to paste the link. I'm trying to get organized. I'm not your a regular host. Michael, unfortunately, is our amazing host usually, and he's like so good at this. Like, and now I have a whole other level of respect for him trying to figure out how to work around with those links, but I'm getting there.
I think it's been the same for all of us. I'm still so naive at these things. We just
Absolutely.
solved my camera issue.
And tell me a little bit about MuleSoft. So what is MuleSoft exactly? So what I've seen is that it kind of helps to integrate different tools and automate all sort of stuff. So what does it do? Like I'd like to hear from you.
So basically, MuleSoft is like a, I mean, you must have heard it's a middleware integration tool. That's absolutely true. But there's so much more to offer when it comes to integration ecosystem. You can actually manage the entire API lifecycle at one place. You can connect to different systems. Like today, we're going to connect with MongoDB. So similar, like you must be having your systems, your different end systems, legacy systems. You must be having different datas and in different at silos basically. So you want to unlock all this data from different end system, different places, and bring out the potential in them. Make sure you're bringing something useful out of them. You can build a composable, reusable, and fully managed API ecosystem using MuleSoft. Or even if it is not involving APIs, you can be having anything. Basically, you can manage the entire API lifecycle and connect, integrate with different systems. So, and you're doing this using the no code or low code tool,
Hmm.
the Anypoint Studio, and then you have the platform which will be helping you out, Anypoint platform, helping you out with the entire API management lifecycle. We also have MuleSoft Composer and robotic automatic processor for like RPA and basically all the stuff. So yeah, there's so much more to
So it's a
discover.
huge ecosystem then.
Yeah.
And you said it's a low code, no code platform. So I'm assuming, and we'll probably see a little bit more today, but there's all sort of connectors that you can use to help integrate with those different products, right?
That's true. So today we're going to see about the MongoDB connector. So similarly, you could be having like different end systems. So we can directly connect with them without having to write the entire code from scratch. You already have the pre-built connectors which are published in Exchange, which are already available in Exchange. Just download them and you can just check out. Yeah. So yeah, that's a link for MongoDB connector where you find out the details.
Cool. I'm getting the hang of
You're
this.
getting there.
Cool. And there is a free trial available, right?
Yeah, there is. We'll just get through that as I mean.
We'll get through that. Well, why don't you get started with that?
Yeah, sure.
I'll let you set up your screen. As soon as you have it, I'll pull it up, and you can guide us through the demo. So, I think today we're going to integrate MongoDB
MuleSoft.
through an API endpoint and use through MuleSoft. Yeah,
Yes.
there it is.
Are you able to
Hey,
see
I know
my
that one.
screen? This is your screen. So yeah, we can sign into MongoDB using the. I think this is also available for free, and that's what I've been using the free trial account. So
Mhm.
I've already have a MongoDB account set up. So maybe first we'll go ahead and we'll set up the MongoDB side, and then we'll go ahead with the MuleSoft side where we are setting up everything. We're building the integration from scratch with MongoDB. Meanwhile, if you guys have any question, just feel free to comment in the chat section. We'll take it up as we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I am definitely doing my best to try to follow up on the comments
Absolutely.
as I'm trying to put some comments in there. But yeah, if you have any questions at any point, please post them in your chat window. I'll be more than happy to relay those back to Akshat here.
Yeah. So first, let's create a project in MongoDB. And whenever, like if you think I'm doing it wrong, or if I'm doing it, if there's some best practice, do let me know, Joel. Like,
I will for sure, for sure. But you're correct. Creating a project will be the first step, and you can have as many projects as you want, and
okay,
each project can contain multiple clusters. So I think
yeah,
you'll drive us
yeah,
through the process of creating a cluster.
amazing. So we'll first create. I mean, after creating a project, we'll be creating a database, and we can see multiple options here. But I guess I will be going ahead with the free one, which
Yeah,
is yeah, and I can see there are different providers as well. So let me give this name. I was actually confused. I mean, the cluster name and the database name, it should be like, so can you just tell me more about cluster and database?
yeah, absolutely. So what you're doing here is that you're actually creating a cluster. So a cluster, in terms of MongoDB, what it means is that it'll create a series of three different servers. So you'll have three servers as a replica set. So there will be redundancy. Data will be spread or copied over those three nodes. So you'll have like this huge setup with high availability. And a cluster is really like this setup. It's the physical three servers, or physical or virtual three servers that are up there. So that's the cluster part. And once you've got your cluster up and running, you'll be able to create your database. So we'll see that in the next step.
Yeah. So in this step, we are just configuring our database and having a security thing. We can have a username, password, or a certificate. So I'm just going ahead with the username, password. Make sure to save your username and password somewhere. So also the password. Yeah.
Yeah, so you won't be able to see them again.
Them
So
again. Yeah, I did experience that. So yeah, I can add my current IP address, or I can have yeah. For now, just let me go ahead. So create a user, and that's when you get a permission to. I mean, you're done setting up. So congratulations, you have created a database. So once we have database, it's called as recipes because that's what we are going to publish here. Like there are few recipes or items, you can say grocery items, which we are going to like publish them. So let us see how we can connect this database to with MuleSoft. So there are different options present. So earlier I used to go ahead with this driver, and we have Java driver. So basically MuleSoft under the hood it's using, I mean it's built on top of Java, you can say. And so you can select the version, you get a driver example as well. But then I discovered there is an easy option. We can go ahead, we can have a MongoDB campus, and there is a connection string which is already present. All you need to do is just copy paste this connection string. And so thanks to Joel, he actually suggested that this is an easy way and we should be using this.
yeah, that's one of the things that I love about the online version or Atlas. Is just like everything's there. It's so easy. You just get your connection string and you're up to go. By the way, I've been getting questions about your book, and people are asking about the link. I've just realized that my messages are not going through LinkedIn. So in the next couple of minutes, I'll be joining the LinkedIn stream, and I'll be posting there as well. So if you're watching on LinkedIn, I'll be there in just a couple of seconds. So I'll let you. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Cool, yeah. Just search on Amazon MuleSoft for Salesforce developers and you should be getting it there. Okay. So we have seen how do we connect. Yeah, there is a connection thing as well. And we already have generated a connection string. So once we are on the MongoDB site, let's go ahead and see the MuleSoft platform. So you have this 30 days free trial account. This is the platform I was talking about. So you can sign up for free. It's free for 30 days. And then you can create a new account if you want, if you're exploring as a developer architect. So I already have an account. So this is how it will look like once you sign up and once you're in. So you can create your API, you can design your API from scratch. You can design your API using, there are different API designing languages, RAML, OS, you can design using them. And then you have repositories like the Exchange, where you'll be having all sorts of APIs already published, all connectors. So if you want to go ahead and see MongoDB, like, yeah. So I already have a MongoDB API that is published. That is by me. Sorry. So you can have your APIs. You can have different connectors. Connectors are basically which will help you. So this is a MongoDB connector for MuleSoft. So there are associated use cases which you can go for reference. So they'll be giving you templates. Basically, you do not have to build everything from scratch. You have pre-built template which you can just reuse and build your API or build your application on top of it. But today, for this live stream, we're going to build everything from scratch so that you get a better idea. And yeah, so in order to build an application, let's go ahead with Anypoint Studio, and we can come back to Anypoint platform, the cloud, I mean, the integration platform later if we have some time. But let's now go ahead with the studio. So this is Anypoint Studio, which is Eclipse-based IDE. I know it's still back, and we are coming up with the cloud-based IDE as well, which is Anypoint Code Builder, and it will be soon out. So we are going to create a new project, basically.
Nope, I don't think we see your. I think we only see your browser there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me just change my settings.
And I've managed to finally log into my LinkedIn, so I can
Oh,
now comment in LinkedIn as well. So I have three screens monitors, but we're doing good. We're doing good.
cool. Are you able to see my studio now?
Let me just push it in. There it is. Yep.
Cool. So yeah, this is the Anypoint Studio, and it's like we don't have anything as of now. There are a few applications which have closed. So we'll be creating a brand new Mule application, a Mule project, and we can just give it a name, MongoDB MuleSoft demo. And okay, there is already a name. I should be knowing. So yeah, this demo one, and then we can click finish because we are just building it from scratch. We are not having any APIs or anything for the moment. So yeah, this is the canvas which it provides, and this is a Mule palette where we can see different templates. So when we want to connect with a different end system, right, for your MongoDB, so all I need to do is go to Exchange. I already have my Anypoint platform account added here. I need to search a MongoDB connector. Okay. So yeah, it's already there. I can just add the MongoDB connector and it should be added to my account. Similarly, if you want to go ahead and add some other connector, maybe a Workday or a Salesforce connector, you can come up with that as well. So there are different connectors if you see NetSuite, SAP, SAP, yeah, so all of them. So just go ahead and click finish. So your connector should be added here, and you have a connection list, a connector, MongoDB connector.
And you said we need a MuleSoft account in order to access those, right?
Yeah, we need a MuleSoft account, but using a free trial account, you can do that.
Okay.
The 30 days one, yeah. So you have different options here, and yeah, these are different operations. We'll see like a few of them today, but first we'll create a flow. So I'm just gonna, as I said, it's a no code low code tool. So we're just gonna drag and drop, and that's all. In the backend, it's actually writing the code for you. So if you see the flow has been created, and it's generating the XML script for you in the process.
I'm glad that there's a tool to generate the XML and that I don't have to
I know,
ever
right?
write XML again.
Yeah, that's such a save. So yeah, so as a source, I mean, as a flow, you can have multiple processors. You can have a source. A source could be a scheduler. It could be a HTTP endpoint, any API endpoint you want. So for now, I'm just adding an HTTP listener, which is going to act as my endpoint, and I'll configure the HTTP listener. So just create a new configuration and click OK because everything is already configured, the port, and I'll give it a name as test. Once this is done, I'll have MongoDB connected. Like I'll select maybe insert a document or So this is a very basic one. Like we're just inserting a document. We are configuring a MongoDB connector now. So that's what I meant. We do not have to write the entire code or anything. It's been done. We just have to configure. Click on the plus sign. We need to have a MongoDB driver. So I'll just say add the recommended libraries and it takes care of that as well. And I'll select, so there are two options in case of configuration. We can either go with connection or a connection string. So I'm going with the connection because that's easy. We already have a connection string we got from MongoDB account. And in case of connection, you have to actually write explicitly all the database name, username, password. So a connection string is easier, right?
Okay, so connection is just each
Just,
one of the fields, and it'll kind of generate that connection string for us.
yeah. So in case of connection string, we already have this connection string. I'm just going to use this one. And that's all. I'll test connection and it should be successful, hopefully.
Sure, there you go.
Yeah, it is. So once you're done configuring the connection, so just click OK and save it. You need to give a collection name. So we already created a collection on the MongoDB Atlas over here. Yeah, so a connection name is recipes. So I'm just going to give the name recipes.
And that would be that's the cluster name.
That's a cluster name. Sorry, yeah.
So in order to get the collection name, you'll have to go back to Atlas,
Okay.
into Browse Collections,
Okay. Your
Collections.
So we currently don't have any collection. I think it's going to create a collection of its own then.
It will create it of its own. You are correct. Thank you.
So yeah. So let's try and maybe we can have a logger in the end. So sorry. Let me delete this flow. And we're just printing out the payload.
And where does the logger log?
It will be logging over here, in the console. And when you're deploying it on the cloud, you'll be having it in the cloud logs as well, the
Okay.
endpoint platform logs. So the data that we are passing here is a payload. So this is a very initial one, and we'll just go ahead and tweak it later. First, let's go with the basic. So let me open my Postman. And first, let me run my application. Yeah. So the application is almost ready. So it took no time to like actually build this application because all the logic, everything has been done. You didn't have to write much logic over here. It's just inserting a data into MongoDB.
And still, that's amazing. So you immediately created that endpoint,
Yeah.
and now you're able to access and to use it through Postman and be able to connect and write to MongoDB, which is great.
So it's already deployed. The status is deployed. We can just go ahead and we are passing some data in the body, which is like ingredients as it is for our recipes. So we're going to pass this ingredients or the recipe as a document, and it's an array basically to MongoDB. So let me click send, and it went through. Amazing. So yeah, these are the logs where I was telling you your question. So it's been logged here in the console, and when you deploy it, you'll be getting it in the deployment logs as well. And moving ahead, if you just refresh your database and collection, you should be having test.recipes here, and it's been added.
There's the collection name recipes that we were looking for. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, as a MongoDB, if you're trying to do an entry into a database and or collection that do not exist, it will automatically create those for you.
Automatically create one, yeah.
So we've got a question here. Anypoint Studio, that's a drag and drop IDE, right?
That's true. That's a drag and drop ID. If you want, you can just go ahead and configure. No one wants to write an XML by themselves, but if you want to change anything, you can just go back. Whichever connector you're on, you can just say go to XML and it will take you to the particular flow. And we're also coming up with like VS Code plugin and a cloud-based ID called Anypoint Code Builder. So it will be doing like you won't be needing Anypoint Studio going ahead like maybe after a year or something. You'll be completely replaced with Anypoint Code Builder. But it's gonna take some while.
Good.
Uh,
Thank
yeah. So going ahead, if you want to have like a choice router, so if you see there are different components, there are different routers and stuff that we have, right? So you can configure. Let me first create a variable. Set a variable. So, sorry.
So the choice is essentially a if statement.
Yeah, it's like an if statement. So I want this thing over here.
It refuses to go.
It refuses to go. Exactly. Let me stop the application. I'm first having a variable. So what I'm trying to do is whatever data I'm getting, I'm sending as a part of request. I'm going to store that as a part of my variable, maybe collection variable name, collection data, and that is a payload, right? So I'm just saving my payload. And then, as you said, the if statement thing. So I have a choice router. So similarly, we have different routers which we can choose choice, scatter gather, async. You can process data which is in batches as well, batch processing. And there's so much more you can do with it. So yeah, I'm just moving this inside. So expression, like what condition do you want for your choice or for your if else? It could be like if payload, or yeah, we can have more MongoDB stuff like list. Yeah, list all collections. So currently we just have one collection. Okay, there you are. Okay, so we can the collection list. Whatever we'll be getting, we'll be just listing it out, and we can have the collection. It will actually fetch all the collections from your MongoDB, and you can save them as collection list. And this is going to be a variable, like the collection, the payload that I'm getting from MongoDB. So I'm going to say like, yeah, if my variable dot collection name,
So vars
collection
is like a
list,
global object that contains all the variables you created, right?
yes, variable dot collection list is equal to recipes. Only then I want it to be inserted as a document. Otherwise, I can add a logger saying that the collection doesn't exist. So this is actually like building an if else statement, and that was easy for me. Collection recipes does not exist.
All right,
So
so you could do your kind of error management there.
yeah,
Can you put something like in your logger as an error so that
yeah.
it'll specifically say like this is a
So
warning or error?
we have a special thing for, I mean, error handling as well. But this is like going to be that is actually not an error. Like if the collection doesn't exist, I'm just going to have a collection doesn't exist thing. If you want to generate error, we can see that as well. So error handling has been automatically taken care of. If I give a wrong, maybe we can, once this thing is done, we can just see how it is. So I've tried, if you're giving a wrong username or a password for this MongoDB thing, the credentials, so maybe let me just play around with this thing. So if I'm giving a wrong connection name, I've just removed the users R. So it's going to give me an error when I run this, and it will be more like it will be capturing the error without having to do any explicit error handling.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't like to deal with errors. I like
Yeah.
when there's a platform that takes care of that for me.
Same here. I don't like to deal with errors and also the test cases, test suites, and all. So
Yeah.
that's so annoying, right? So yeah, we don't have to build test cases as well from scratch. We have auto MUnit auto test recorder which helps you building tests. So
Oh,
we
nice.
know the connection string is wrong. So I'm expecting it should be failing. Yeah, yeah. It gave me an error message which was like formatted, and I didn't have to do error handling or anything as such.
Yeah.
Still,
We have two questions that came in. I think like we're very near. So Abel asked if there's a way to do version control in the API in the MuleSoft API development.
Yes, we can do. So when we are in the Anypoint platform, right? You're and while you're building your API, you're designing your API. So Design Center is the platform where you actually design your API. So we can go to any of the APIs, and you have a provision to version control, and you can manage your versions and everything. Yeah.
Perfect. And there's another question that came in. Um, is this way secure using connection string? So I'm guessing like the connection string is it exposed anywhere, or is it like it's all hidden? So is it directly in the XML file?
Yeah, so if you want, you can actually. So this is currently it is not secure. It is like just open for everyone, but you can secure it using a property file or a configuration file, so it will be secure. You are not exposing it to anyone. Even if you are configuring it with CI/CD, you can have a property file, which could be a YAML file or any of the property file, and just configure it. So it's not exposed to the external world. It's only in your environments.
Okay, so then we'd be able to use the secrets from an environment and hide all of
You
that.
can encrypt them as well, your connection string or the entire file.
That was a very good question. Security is one of those things that I tend to always forget about, but it's like it should be first and foremost. So that's great that it has everything in place already.
That's true. So once we have created this application, once it's all running and it's up, we can actually go ahead and deploy it to Cloud Hub as well. So Cloud Hub is like our cloud cloud platform. Like it's in the Anypoint platform. So it's the deployment environment basically. You can deploy your applications anywhere. You can deploy it on premise, on AWS, on any of your servers. You can use a hybrid approach as well. But if you don't want to invest, or if you do not have a pre-existing infrastructure, we have Cloud Up for you, which is like under the hood, it's having AWS EC2 instances, but everything is already built and managed for you. So you just have to go ahead and deploy the application, and you can deploy it from the studio as well. So you can just go ahead and click here, deploy to Cloud Up. So I had the same questions about MongoDB, Joel. So what are the deployment options available for us?
Yeah. So just like you can in MuleSoft, we can deploy on for when you're using AWS, not AWS, Atlas. Sorry, if you're using MongoDB Atlas, it'll give you the option, and you went quickly through it when you created your cluster, but it will offer you to where do you want to deploy, and then you'll have access to all the major cloud providers, pretty much all of their data centers as well. So you can really specify where you want to store your data, and those clusters will, or that cluster, those nodes will exist on that specific cloud. So in your
Oh,
case, if you're deploying on AWS, I haven't noticed which region you picked for MuleSoft.
for MuleSoft, it's going to be default US EC2. I'm not sure about about the MongoDB Atlas.
I
How
think it
come?
also defaults to Northeast
Yeah.
US Northeast one. I think, but that's what you'll want to do. You'll want to have both your MuleSoft and your MongoDB database located as close as you can. So if you can store them or have them run in the same data center, then you can use VPC peering. It'll make a much faster connection, and you won't have to use external data. So you won't pay for all that data going outside of the data center. You can actually use all of the data within the data center. It'll use their own network. It's much faster and cheaper to run.
Oh, that's amazing actually.
We've got another question related to security. So can you use Azure Key Vault or AWS KMS to store that connection string and access it through MuleSoft?
Yeah, you can. I mean, if you already have those things, then you can use it. But if you don't have, we have MuleSoft security as well. So we have security capabilities from MuleSoft where you're securing your APIs, the credentials, and everything, a secure vault too. But yeah, if you already have a Azure or any security wall, you can go ahead and use that, I would say.
Good, good. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah.
Cool.
So application which was deployed on a, sorry, you said we have one more question, right?
No, that was it. Sorry.
Cool. So yeah, the application which we deployed from Cloud Hub, it's been running, and I mean it's about to get deployed. It will take some time, and yeah, it's up. It started. So we can see insights log. We can see the logs which you are telling about, asking about. So this is the place where we can actually find all the logs related to application. So yeah, it's been started. Maybe there are some errors, not sure. Connectivity errors, of course. So we had just configured for a local environment. So in order to configure for the cloud environment, we need to go to network access, and we need to add an IP address for allow access from anywhere. That's not secure and that's not um,
Never
recommended.
do that. I always put in my comments, never do that.
Never do that exactly. But yeah, just for the demo, we can do that. But whenever you're doing, you should be having your network thing sorted out.
Yeah, absolutely. And MongoDB should be sending you an email message reminding you not to do that. So
That
that
not to
should.
do that. Yeah, true. So we have deployed this application, and we'll be getting a URL and endpoint, which you can use to hit externally. I'll just copy this thing. You can just paste it over here, and our endpoint was test. You can have a body. You can add some more stuff. I'll just add.
Is that a
Oh,
real recipe?
yeah,
Your favorite recipe?
adding my grocery list. I would say I love fish. Maybe that's it. So yeah, it went through, and this time it's going through cloud actually, not through our local environment, and also the new application which we built. So it was that quick. We are like we just half our time, and we
Perfect.
built a
And
new
because we're using because you were using the connection string, then it always just writes to the same instance of MongoDB, and we can see it here. So
yeah. So it should be there, right?
it should be.
It should be.
Hey, in the meantime, while we're talking about MongoDB, I think it's time to pull up the MongoDB trivia question, and we'll pick one winner to the people who can answer this question, and for a chance to win a MongoDB podcast T-shirt. So the question today is I need to find it. What is the name of the cloud offering by MongoDB, also known as the Developer Data Platform? And I'll put in a link to a form so you can fill this in, and I will contact the winner after the stream because I've got way too many things going on at the moment. But you can use that link that I've just posted. I'll also bring it up on the screen so that you can type it in if you want to. And there it is. Perfect. So if you want to take a minute, answer that question for your chance to win the podcast. And yes, there is a MongoDB podcast. So Michael, who is actually on LinkedIn listening to us right now, is our amazing host on the podcast. So if you have a chance, you should totally connect. And in a couple of minutes, we'll have the MuleSoft trivia coming up as well.
Yeah. Thanks. So I just have one question. I mean, if the data is duplicate, does it get replaced or something? I mean, it won't allow.
Because you don't insert an ID,
Mhm.
it should create a new record with a new ID, so it shouldn't be
No.
duplicated.
Okay. So I
Um,
guess in that case, there's something with my application which I need to, yeah, definitely I can check the logs and there should be some error.
there's definitely something with live DevOps, right?
Yeah. No, that we should be getting it. That's, I think, good and recommended. So yeah, there's some issues.
So what do you have in your logs? Seemed
Yeah.
fine.
No, I think it's with the collection. So also with this thing, it's the collection list, right? So when we are getting a list, it should be as an
Uh,
array.
yeah, it should be an array, so it should check if there's
If
yes.
there are recipes present, only then it should go ahead and it should insert. So what document it's inserting, I had not mentioned it. So it's going to be where start the collection data, which we are going to send on the payload. So let me first try this locally and then it should work. Then we can go ahead and deploy it again. So redeploy. And that
And
means,
this is deploying in the cloud again.
yeah, cool.
In the meantime, I can bring up
I just
MuleSoft.
I just have one question regarding
Yes.
MongoDB. Like, how do you compare Mongo? Like, I have used different databases. So, how do you think like MongoDB is different from other databases? So, what?
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you who are coming in from the MuleSoft side of things and are not familiar with MongoDB, MongoDB is a document database. So it's in the larger NoSQL family, and it's just a different way to think about your data. So rather than storing data in tables and rows, you can see here that we've got collections, which is kind of the equivalent of a table,
Mhm.
and we've got documents that are stored in it. So you can think of a document like being a row in a relational database. But the big difference is that, and you've actually used it in a great way. So the big difference compared to a typical row in a database is that you've got like arrays that you can use or embedded object that you can use. So in your case, you actually had an array of all the ingredients. And that's a great use case for MongoDB, right? When you store your information in your relational database, you would have like a table for all the ingredients and then a table for the recipe, and you need to join those tables to get all of that data. When you're using something like or a document database such as MongoDB, you can store all of that information into one big document. So rather than doing those joins, you can actually do a single query and retrieve all of the information that you need. So it's a little bit of a different way to think about data and how you use your data. But in the end, it's a database. So you can just use it. You can still do those relationships and do everything that you would do with any other database. But it's just well, of course, I'll say that it's a way that I prefer to work with data. It makes it easier for me to think about my data because I can actually, it helps me think about the data in a way that makes more sense to me as a software developer.
Thank you, Joel. I mean, that was really helpful. And I mean, I've been actually using MongoDB for last 2 weeks or something. Definitely for this demo, but it's been really helpful. And before that, I guess I've used a few years ago, and it was quite different back then. I don't remember having a cloud-based thing. It was quite local. I mean, on desktop. But yeah. So.
Yeah, a lot of people use it because there's a lot of different flavors to MongoDB. There's like you can install it on your machine.
Mhm.
There's the community version, which is free. The source code is available as well if you want to take a look at it. There's the enterprise version that requires some licensing, and both of those you can run using a container. That's kind of the typical way. When I before I joined MongoDB a couple of years ago, when I used it was usually through a container. Just made it easier. But a couple of years ago now, they launched Atlas, which is the cloud offering, and it's just so much easier to use, and it just like takes care of all the deployment, and you just take that connection string, use it directly. So it's so much easier to just get up and running with MongoDB.
That's so amazing. So a code didn't run. I mean, there's some issue, and if you're actually facing any issues, you can debug your code as well. And debugging the code, it's actually easy. You can just set some toggle breakpoint like you used to do in your traditional applications. But here you don't actually. I mean, if you're someone from a non-programming background, if you don't have much to do with programming, so you can still get started with MuleSoft. I would say it's easy. And yeah, it's deployed and it's in the debugging mode because our application it didn't there was some issues. I think it's not getting inserted or the document isn't being uploaded in the MongoDB side. So there is exception in authenticating, I guess. So it's with the MuleSoft username password. Okay, so the one which I had changed.
You changed it earlier,
Yes,
right?
I changed it earlier, but I did get it back. Yeah, it is changed. Let me check the connection. Yeah, it's good. Okay, if not that, we can always debug.
I love the fact that you can debug like in the low code interface. That's really cool.
Yeah, that helps you like when you're testing and when you're like, stuck somewhere.
Yeah, because usually I try to keep my flows very, very simple, so I don't need to actually debug. Like I know exactly what's going on, but that helps you to create
That
much
helps.
more complex flows that could integrate with a bunch of different services.
Hmm. I think that's really the best part. Like you can actually focus more on integration, the patterns, and the other stuff because you don't have to worry about coding or anything like that, right?
Hmm.
So when you're in the Mule debugger, you can actually go X plus Y. You can see like what is the expression. Okay, we can see the expressions here as well. We can see the variables, the two collection list, and it's collection list dot here. Okay, it went through. So I'm not sure why it's not. It should be refreshing over here, and it should be. Yeah, it's there.
There it is.
There it is. Okay,
Oh, that was easy. And the second one had yeah,
red chicken. Yeah, cool.
perfect. Oh yeah, you still had the original. Cool.
I still
Well,
have the original ones. So the first ones were for the cloud app, which we need to redeploy. So if you have to redeploy this application, you just have to go ahead and do the same thing. Like just go ahead and deploy to cloud app. So it will be deploying on the same application which was previously there. It will be just replacing with a new jar file. It will be compiling it and yeah, override the existing application and deploy.
good. Um, so we had a question about Cloud Hub actually. Let me pull it up if I can find it again. There it is. So is there an auto scaling concept in Cloud Hub? So when the load will be so high that it manages, like how does that scale?
Yeah, so we do have an auto scaling option. You can do it manually as well, or I mean, we have vCores, workers, the thing which you need to configure. So yeah, we have that option in Cloud App. Or if you're doing it on an external environment on your own infrastructure, you can auto scale by it yourself. But in Cloud App, we have the by default option of auto scaling. And you
Good.
can, I mean, depending on your load, you can just increase or you can do horizontal vertical scaling, and you can, like, in terms of number of vcores or in the terms of the worker size, same like the way we have for AWS EC2 instance, the kind of scaling you do, we have it for cloud Hub as well.
Seems like MuleSoft thought about everything.
Yeah.
Just great. Speaking of which, if anybody wants to learn more about MuleSoft, we already talked about your book that'll be coming out soon, and you'll sorry.
Yeah, sorry. We have the training links as well where you can get your first certification, MCD level 1, MuleSoft certified developer, for free. You can just go ahead and complete your fundamentals training, the Anypoint platform. Joel, I've shared the training link with you. Maybe we can have that
Yeah,
thing.
I'll show it in 1 second. Just trying to catch up on my link sharing here. So if you want to run the chance to win a copy of Akshada's ebook, the links are being shared at the moment, and it's uh, going on at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, what did I can't remember. What was the question? The trivia question for?
Yeah. The trivia question is, from where can you download a connector or where can you access a connector from? Today we downloaded MongoDB connector. Can you tell me the name of the place from where did we download it?
Perfect,
Instance,
perfect.
I would say.
Okay, so we had that one. Now let's remove this banner. Everybody should have the link by now. And you mentioned if people want to learn more, there is a platform for MuleSoft training. This one.
Yeah.
So trailblazer.me. That's kind of
The Trailblazer thing, you can learn about Salesforce, MuleSoft, any of the Salesforce tool platform. Yeah, everything is there.
okay. And what does it look like? Is it like videos that we can watch?
You'll be having some trails, some modules, some quick links. Yeah, some videos as well. You can say.
Cool. I should have added the MongoDB University as well. So if people want to learn about MongoDB, we've got something equivalent.
Oh, I think we lost him. I'm not sure. Joel, is this your power cut which is taking place, or is it me? Uh, uh, uh. Can anyone tell me about it in the comment section? If it's just me or is it Joel? Because I have no clue. Yeah, we lost him. But I guess we are done with most of the stuff. Like, if you guys have any questions, I'll be there for some time related to MuleSoft. And yeah, let's hope Joel comes back, or else I'm not sure how this is going to be. But yeah, definitely it was a good thing. Okay, we lost him for sure. Cool. So, yeah. Do we have any questions about MuleSoft or MongoDB? If you'd like to see something else, I think we are almost time up. Yeah, and I see that Joel has shared most of the links as well. So I think we are good. Thank you so much for joining, guys. And yeah, bye bye.
And I'm back. And I'm back. Talk about a way to end a stream with a bang. So as I mentioned, for those of you who were there earlier, we have a huge storm outside here today, and I've lost power for a second. Hopefully, I've got backup power, but I think we pretty much had everything covered by now. Hopefully, you were able to learn a thing or two in today's stream. If you want to learn more about MongoDB, you can always follow MongoDB University. I've just shared the link right here. This will be a place where you'll be able to find self-paced modules to just explore and learn more about MongoDB itself. And as was already shared, the MuleSoft training link is also available right there. I don't know if Exada will join us. I think she already said goodbye. But that is all I had for today. Thank you so much for attending. And if you have any question, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can also reach out to me on Twitter, which is usually the best way. So that's Joel with 2 underscores. We don't really see it here. So Joel _ Lord is the easiest way to get in touch with me if you have any questions. And if you want to reach out to Akshana, if you have any questions about MuleSoft, she'll be more than happy to answer those. Again, this is her Twitter, or you can find her on LinkedIn as well. Thank you very much for attending, and we'll see you around.